Hello and welcome to competition results time. This has been delayed because things have been going on, Magnus. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. This is a nighttime recording. Well, late evening.
Yeah, this is Get Good after dark.
After dark.
We
Yeah.
are past the watershed. I am usually in bed at this time. We're just going
Yeah.
to see what happens. It's going to be great.
No, it's gonna be great. It is. It is. Yeah, we were a bit delayed because of Golden Demon and all of that. So it was competition, but it was different competition. So let's get back to challenge.
Yeah, challenge and kicking ass. So dear listener, if you are new to this and you're like, these Get Good guys seem to be putting out an awful lot of content in the past few days, don't worry about it. Normal scheduling will resume, but every month we run a challenge which is designed to get people out of their comfort zone and painting something
Yeah.
that fits a particular theme. And this month, the theme was limited palette, or rather, take this palette as inspiration. So everyone that took part got to roll themselves a random number. We then cross-checked that against one of the lovely palettes that are available online. I forgot this, the Colour Cube lady, Sarah Chalk, I think her name is. No, I think that's the actress from Scrubs. Doesn't matter. Colour Cube, search it, you'll find it. You can buy those palettes. That's what we used. And so for each entry, what I've done is I put the entry on the screen and then the palette underneath it, so you can see what palette was referenced. And if this is the kind of thing that is of interest to you, maybe consider joining our community, which we've had a large number of people join since Golden Demon, which is quite exciting. And yes, we'll just have to manage an ever-growing and wonderful community, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. It is.
Before we get into it, our guest judge this month was the winner of last month's challenge, Knight in Cantor, a marvellous human being, excellent in TMM and painting in general. And I guess before we dive into it, any thoughts on judging with him, Magnus?
Oh, it was a joy. The man knows what he's doing. He's a very good painter, and and not only is he a good painter, but he also knows quite a few good painters, which means if you are kind of in these circles or mindsets and you kind of bounce ideas with people, oftentimes I find that it kind of strengthens yourself as you associate with others that are quite accomplished. So yeah, it was really a joy, and it was not an easy one to judge. Well, we say that in every one of these. But it was true this go around too. So I was pretty happy to have him by my side. And also then he can attest to it wasn't just me rolling random dice.
That's for next month. Don't worry about that. Wonderful. So let us then dive in. And first on the slate is Topus with a very atmospheric piece. What's your sense of this? I mean, I love the color selection. I love the boldness of it. It's a hell of a piece.
Yeah. So we saw a work in progress of this one at some point. And I must say I was really surprised. So when people got their color cards, they maybe not everyone, but most people did share them in the channel, just to kind of bounce ideas and what they could do and stuff like that. And it's also fun to share what you got, because for sure some of them are quite a bit harder than others. So this one was shared, and I was thinking, maybe it's some kind of cyberpunk, or maybe it could be many things, but what I'm looking at now was not what I had thought at any point that it would amount to. I think it is a really nice and expressive kind of painting. The idea of having kind of like the light flew through blinders or whatever, something obstructing. and then doing something like this is, well, I could have not thought it up for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of my key takeaways when I was looking at like the creative interpretation of the palettes. And there's a few
Yeah.
pieces coming up where I thought that, and I'm like, am I just a basic bitch? Where I just look at these palettes and I'm like, oh well, this is like you say cyberpunk or something like high energy. It's like no, this is like a 1950s, 60s
Yeah.
lady with
Yeah.
looking through Venetian blinds. It's like,
Yeah.
oh okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, not
It's
at all what you would have thought. I was something like, oh, so okay, so this is an Emperor's Children, must be, and nope,
but no,
not at all. Yeah, it's a
it's
really
hot.
lovely one.
Yeah.
This one, really, really clever, and a great use of the color palette.
And
Really,
I know
really nice one.
I know by Topus's admission is a whip, and of course whips are more than loved in the competition entries. But certainly the way that they are beginning to pick out the volumes through very narrow strips, which strikes me as an incredibly difficult thing to do. But maybe a fun challenge to try one time. But no, wonderful entry, Topus.
Yeah,
Right, similar on the vein of wow, what an interpretation of the color scheme. So I remember Owen came, he rolled his lovely dice, and the image that, because every palette comes with an image, and the image was just a salad and tomatoes, and here we have a wonderful vibrant ghost.
yeah, yeah. I mean, initially I was like, so probably this will be some kind of tyrannid or something. It could be kind of like so you have the scales or what is it called? Sitin, chitin? What is it called?
Chitin. Well, I would call it
Chit-
chitin.
Okay.
Or
But
chitin
the armor.
maybe, but chitin, I think.
Yeah, I don't. Well, the plating on those guys, I could see that be like a very green, and then have the skins be desaturated, and then you had an accent color of a red. So I was already thinking, well, maybe it's just because I'm used to Games Workshop models, but so I was kind of maybe it could be something like that. If you had to force a salad with the tomatoes into into a 40K model or whatever, and he came up with this instead. It's really surprising. It's a nice interpretation too, for sure.
And I think certainly from my perspective, as someone that tends to paint in more desaturated palette, slightly grimmer tones, one of the things I often struggle with is both achieving both luminosity and color saturation, which is this piece, it almost glows against the backdrop.
Yeah.
I mean, it is by its nature ethereal, and it's a really nice thing to see. And I think that's where I'm like, I was looking at painting a few bone-related things because of other competitions going. I was like, working some saturation, luminosity in here could be very exciting. But no, it's a really, really nice piece, and a very cool interpretation of the palette. Frostbite and Samus Aran.
Yeah.
Very saturated palettes is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Was this the parrot? Or was this?
This was the parrot, I believe. Yeah.
yeah. So this on the palette here, it had or two parrots or whatever. So naturally, it had lots of color, and I think it's. I mean, you can see here putting all these saturated colors on one piece is going to be incredibly hard. Without it looking weird and busy, and well, they managed anyways. I think this is another fantastic piece, and it's well, not only is it a gorgeous paint job, but also the use of these colors, having them all there, and even having them in like full saturation is incredibly hard. Yeah, I think it is.
And it is
So, well done.
definitely, I think, a real kind of showpiece to pull off a non-metallic metal in different coloured metals across the same
Yeah.
mini.
Yeah.
Is pretty special. But my favourite bit, my absolute favourite bit on this paint job is these small specular reflections in, I think it's a Metroid that she's standing on. It may not be, but you can tell it's glossy and it's reflecting the environment and it's just tasty. I just think that's really clever and really well done.
I agree completely, and it's a usage of the blue and the green, so you kind of combine them because we did allow both use of black white, and you could mix the colors to. Sometimes you need to bridge something or whatever, so we didn't want to limit people to not be able to mix colors from the colors they already had, which naturally then led to some palettes being much easier because you can kind of mix 3 colors and have a brown or whatever. But even then, no one did, and kept it very in the spirit of the competition. Yeah, it's a nice piece. This one, absolutely.
Seb.
Yeah, this is a tough. So when you looked at this color palette, what would you have painted?
This is one of the ones that I saw that I was like, I could do a sweet Tyrannid in this color scheme. And I know Tyrannids are always a bit of a go-to, but like say dark chitin, these really fleshy tones. I would have not have thought Bastian Karlthos, whatever his name is.
No, not at all. This was not what I had in mind. I would probably have gone for something like a rosy skin, so like a lady's skin, and then in a green dress or something like that. Probably I would, because you could desaturate some of the colors with black and white. So that would have been my go-to if I had to cook something from this. I would not have chosen this model. I don't know actually.
What do you know about this model? I mean, come on.
yeah, exactly. What do I know? Yeah, but I mean, the paint job is really good, and it's really hard to kind of combine these colors and make them. Maybe it was inspired by so the TMM challenge where Night Incanter did his rosy, I guess rosy gold. Maybe it was inspired by that. I don't know for sure. But yeah, a really creative use of this color palette too. And it's basically, it looks almost like it's 2 colors, right? Because
yes, very almost monochrome.
Yeah, because 4 of them are kind of in a value range. So not an easy palette for sure.
Although, like, when I was reviewing everything, I do think a key takeaway, and I think it's exemplified here with Seb's work and Owen's Ghost, is that you can, if you know your paints, if you know kind of proportions to use, you can make any palette work on any model.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
This, you will get some law police saying, no, Bastion is not like this. But I guarantee if I saw this on the table, I'd be like, that's pretty cool. I like that. It works.
Yeah, and even if it was part of, I mean, you could paint an army like this if you wanted to. I mean,
Red Stormcast.
Sure, you could. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, next, Skunky Bear mini art, Rudy. Now, I'm gonna call out Rudy right here, which I know is not necessarily in the spirit of competition. There are probably 2 people I have like in this pantheon of just incredible painters, and then just take the most, should we say, slightly careless photos, and you're one of them, and Rudy's the other. Yeah. Why am I seeing shit in the background of this wonderful paint job? Why you do this to me, Rudy? Get a backdrop. Your paint jobs deserve better photography, please.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to put something in the background for authenticity, so you can see that he hasn't doctored the colors. You can see in the background there's some blue and some purple, some red, and some just so
helping
you know
me white balance. What a legend!
Exactly. Yep.
So Rudy came hot off Nova, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Capital palette, and was just like, I'll throw this together. Obviously, we saw a lot of whips. It exemplifies the palette. I think it's beautiful. What do you think?
I
about
agree.
it?
Yeah, I agree completely. So first off, it's not that easy to do teeth, bone. It has a bit of flames in the background, and then have that kind of like soft peach looking underside in the same kind of range of tones and hues. But I think it is working very well. Same with so it goes pink inside the mouth, and it goes much more orange on the belly, for example, and even more so on the flames. It's yeah, not easy to do. So I think it's pulled off very nicely. And well, the green volumes just they look really nice.
And the very tasty Eye of Sauron that this
Yeah, yeah,
this creature seems to have, which I'm big fan of. No,
yeah,
it's wonderful. I'm a big
yeah.
fan
It really is.
of Rudy work in general. So yeah, just tip top. No, I pressed the back button. Don't do that, Bruce. Foolish. And then coming off as Tyke, we were talking briefly before recording that Tyke was just working along in the background and then just slammed this into the email inbox. Wham bam done.
Yeah.
Didn't even post it in the
Yeah.
channel. What do you think? Hell of a piece.
Yeah. So really two things with this. So one thing is it's really clever to use the palette this way. You kind of get because you have the dark bluish grays on one side, and then you have the saturated yellow and orange on the other side. So it's not that easy to figure out what do I do with it. So I think this one is a really clever way to do it, and mixing the yellow and the bluish gray gives that kind of greenish glow you can see on the inside of the cloak and on the front of the model. So that the palette works really, really well, and I think the OSL is one of the better OSLs I've seen. It's really hard to make OSL work because you need to have like a very dark environment. Otherwise, it just does not glow. And so the black gray, bluish grays or whatever really facilitates that. It's a clever way of doing this paint scheme. I was really surprised, and I think it's one of the nicer both schemes and also interpretations I've seen. It's
I think the thing that stands out to me is the face, almost like to make a face work. The skin tones work within this limited palette, still using primarily the palette paints to make it happen. One of the things I wish I could do, which unfortunately we can't, is just hold this in hand, because I imagine, obviously we look at these things and they're giant. I know this mini is quite small.
Yeah. It's small.
I would really love to see this in hand, because I think it's a marvellous piece, very well executed. So kudos to you, Tyke.
Yeah, I agree.
And Michael, Desperate Minis on Instagram, with one of the we talked about in the challenge chat, obviously the ability to desaturate colours, not use them before saturation. And I think Michael here is a real masterclass in understanding that and using the palette intelligently to actually create an incredibly moody scene, which I didn't see coming, frankly.
No, same. So he posted the model before it had any paint on, because he chose that one, and I hadn't really envisioned how that would work out. Let's just say it like that. But I think the usage of having like the green and the blues be the main colors for the for the model. Obviously, it is like the green is very saturated, and the spots of actual blue is they are quite saturated, but because it's kind of like a dark black metal armor or whatever it is, means that you kind of take a lot of that saturation, or it can't really overpower anything because you don't have a lot of it, and you have a lot of desaturated either straight within the reflection or a lot of black besides it, and then taking that very saturated red and doing something with it. I think it's really clever to have that kind of side glow of flaming something or close to a pit or whatever it is. But a red light shining. I think it's really clever actually. Yeah, I really enjoy the look of that.
Very atmospheric. You get a sense of the world around the bust, which I think can be very hard to represent at times. It's tip top. I could look at the sword hilt for a long time. I think it's very well rendered. It's kind of stuff that I want to try and practice more of. This idea of environmental reflections done very well. So kudos to you, Michael. It's lovely work. And now
completely agree.
We go to the awards. Very exciting. I had to rename this because we are no longer bronze winner. We are no longer singular. This is an open competition. And without further ado, bronze is going to Michael. Singular bronze going to Michael. Appreciate you've just been talking about it, Magnus. But in terms of you and I, what was the consensus on this piece?
Yeah, we looked at it and for us the standout was it's mostly finished or rendered the most from this angle, and it really works. For us, it was mainly the colors all coming together. So it is really true to the palette. While still finding room to interpret and have both very saturated green, blues, and reds. Not that easy. This is really a masterclass in taking these colors and interpreting them with the use of black and white. Yeah, it's really nice.
Understanding color, not just painting it. It's
exactly
very key. Silver then. I don't know what to say because I want to say silver winner or silver winners because I don't know until I hit the next thing. So I'm just going to say silver and then click next, which goes to Frostbite for the Samus Aran. Yeah.
This one is really nice. I like the colors and I like that you have basically chosen or at least mostly full saturation on all of these colors and combining them. So even just finding a model that suits it is will be a challenge, and it really worked. I think it's a fantastic piece.
Really well really done. Cool, really well executed. A fun piece as well, which I think very emblematic of the Nintendo history behind it. Well done, Frostbite. Really nice bit of work. And then gold. Now I want to be mean here before I hit next. So we have, as part of the challenges, thanks to the wonderful Max on the Discord, community champion, sponsors, so that everyone who enters gets a free session with lovely Magnus to talk about whatever they may want. Probably painting would be best, but the floor's open.
Sure.
And I have preloaded the names into my Wheel of Fortune, which I'm spinning off screen. And our winner for this month is Tattoo. So Tattoo, congratulations! This goes to everyone who entered. Thank you, but Tattoo, I will be in touch on the Discord with you after this video goes live to discuss that. Very nice. Thought I'd do that now.
Yeah.
Right. Now, gold. 2 gold winners.
Yeah. Yeah, we picked those two. So we didn't want to pick one because they were both neck and neck at the same level. So we found it better to have 2 golds. I think the interpretations of the palettes, both of them were excellent, and the painting itself was really, really good on the models. Rudy shows great mastery over volumes, and I will say that. So while one is maybe I don't want to say easier or not, but I think just thinking outside of the box to create both of these, not easy, and it really worked. All the colors were used, and they were used very, very cleverly. So yeah, these two are or were in our eyes the golds. Lovely pieces.
Yeah, really nice pieces, and I think
Yeah.
perhaps a show of just how well executed they are is you wouldn't look at them and think, oh, this comes from like a palette challenge, or they're just harmonious, really nice painted, good interpretations of an interesting concept, and beautifully painted minis. So Rudy and Tyke, congratulations so much. We're very happy for you. Happy to crown you our golden winners, and maybe we'll be speaking to either of them as judges for the October month spooky competition. So that concludes this awards this award show. If you are interested in taking part, as I said, we are currently running a spooky competition, and then next month we're doing 8 hours, an 8-hour burst paint job to see what you can get done in that time. That's going to be really interesting, that one. I'm very excited
I think so too.
For the pieces that come in, because we have some monsters that can paint very quick on our Discord, so that will be very fun. For now, thank you for watching. As always, see you in the next one. Goodbye, get painting, get good, and get out of here. So long.
Bye-bye.